Thank you for all your answers. Do you have any questions for us? No, I think I'm good. This is a tricky question because it means something different than you might expect. What the interviewer was actually asking was, are you interested in this position? And you just said no. In this video, I will discuss why it is so important to ask good questions, which questions you can ask, and how you can make a good impression while asking your questions. When you're in a stressful interview situation, it's easy to get caught up in just answering all the questions the interviewer asks you. However, it is equally important to also ask questions of your own. Asking questions shows that you are engaged in the interview, genuinely interested in the job opportunity, and that you're also critically thinking how you would fit into the company. It's also important to remember that a good interview is a dialogue. Just as the interviewer is trying to assess you, you should also try to assess whether you are interested in the company and the opportunity they are offering. Asking questions on your own generally gives you a better insight into the company culture, the day-to-day responsibilities, and the future goals of the company. Additionally, it's much easier to have an actual dialogue than a stiff question and answer flow during your interview. When it comes to which questions you can ask, it's generally better to ask open-ended questions that give you a better understanding of the company and the role. For example, you might ask questions about the company's mission or values, or the specific project you would be working on once you were hired. It's important to remember that every question you ask will not just give you information, but will also make an impression on the interviewer. You should always be prepared that you have researched the company, the role, the market, that you are curious, and that you ask follow-up questions when they give you answers. So let's now talk about how you can prepare in the best way to ask great questions during your interview. As I already said, as a candidate, you should research the company, the role, maybe even the industry of the job you're applying for. I will now give you 5 things you can do to prepare the best questions for your next interview. First, review the company's website. Look at the company's mission statement, the values, the recent news or press releases. This will give you a good idea of what the company's mission, priorities, and values are. Second, research the position. Look at the job listing and read carefully through all the responsibilities and requirements of this role. This will immediately give you a good understanding of what they are looking for and what they expect during the interview. Third, with the knowledge you just got, prepare a list of open-ended questions. It's important that they are open-ended so that you get more information and more insights into the company and into the role you're applying for. And the fourth point is practice. Practice your questions out loud. This way you get a good understanding of what you want to ask and you're prepared when they ask you, and do you have any questions for us? You can also go to a friend and go through all of your questions and double check if those are really questions you want to ask during the interview with them. And the fifth point is show appreciation. During and after the interview, it's important that you show appreciation for the interviewer's time and willingness to give you all the information about the company and the role you're applying for. I want to now give you some general tips how to ask good questions during an interview. The first one is never copy and paste answers from the internet. It seems tempting because there are a lot of lists promising you to be good interview questions. But the problem with them is that they are not genuine. They're not genuinely your interest in the company. And that will always leave a weird feeling in the interview that you just prepared a random set of questions. It's much better to research your own questions and ask genuine and authentic questions to the interviewer. That will be the difference that makes you seem authentic and confident during the interview. The next tip is, if you run out of time during the interview, you can always ask for a few minutes more if they have time, and if not, you can ask follow-up questions in an email afterwards. Just be careful, don't send them a list of 50 random questions. Only ask questions you are genuinely interested in and you want the answer for, because that could overwhelm the interviewer. As hiring managers, we generally are happy to answer all of your questions, but we also have very limited time, so only ask the questions that you think are very important. And the next one is, ask the right question to the right person. You always want to be mindful who you're talking to and you don't want to waste valuable time asking questions to the wrong person. That also shows that you understand the situation and that you are reflected about who you're talking to. So who's the best person to answer your questions? I think, for example, recruiters can best talk about the interview process, the interview preparation, hiring details, the benefits of the companies, the culture, etc. Hiring managers, for example, can best speak about the team culture, the career opportunities, the management, the product you would be working on, current challenges, the roadmap they are working on, etc. If you're talking to engineers, on the other hand, it's best to ask them about the technical details, technical challenges, the team culture, what they like in this company and what they dislike about this company. And lastly, if you talk to talent acquisition or HR people, you can ask them about the contract details, the relocation support, the visa, all the organizational things about your new job. I know, now I gave you the theoretical overview, which questions to ask, how you can find your own questions, and who to ask them to. But what are examples of good questions you can ask? I personally think a good question to ask is about the team you would be joining. Can you tell me about the team I would be joining? Can you tell me about the product they would be working on and what the team members' roles are? Another interesting question is, can you walk me through what a typical day looks like in this position? This will give you a good insight into your responsibilities, into how the team is structured, how the company operates, and what your actual day-to-day work would look like. Another good question is, what are the career opportunities if I join your company at this position? This shows that you are ambitious and that you're already looking into the future and how you can grow at this current company. But that also tells you whether they have a structured career path, if they usually support people to grow, and what the future opportunities are you could take. Another good question could be, why do you like working at this company? And the inverse of that, what do you don't like about working at this company? This gives you a bit of the perspective of the current challenges the company faces, the individual team's challenges, and what the people genuinely appreciate working at this company. Those were just a few examples to get you started. In my worksheet, which I will link below this video, you can find a few more. But as you see, those were very generic questions you can ask in almost every situation. Here it is important that you do your homework, you research the company, you research the role and the requirements, and ask specific questions you are interested in. Those questions will be much more powerful than the generic ones I just gave you. By preparing in advance and researching your questions, you can ask much more thoughtful questions and will get much more insightful answers. This will give you much more information to decide whether you want to work at this company or not, and will leave a much better impression on the interviewer, which will increase your chances of getting your job dramatically. Okay, I hope I could convince you to do a little bit of work beforehand, prepare your questions, and ask good questions during an interview. I think it's absolutely crucial, and sometimes I think the questions a candidate asks are more important than the answers they give me to my questions. Because it tells much more about you, what you are interested in, what challenges you faced in the past, and what is important for you in a future opportunity. If you ask good questions during your interview and got good answers, please write them in the comments that we can all learn from them together. I'm very interested in the jobs you're preparing for, and I want to celebrate together with you once you got your dream job. So definitely write that in the comments. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.